veganism for Tobias, and just like really scream, and then everyone will think, what the hell's going on? So just thank you to Tobias and to the Vegfest. Come on, let's just go mad. Bit louder. Come on, it's veganism. Woo! Louder. Excellent. Oh, it's lovely. I'm so blessed to be standing here. Thank you for coming to the Vegfest. My name is Karen Ridgers, and I'm trying my best to address the fact that we just don't get any vegan stuff on TV. I've been running Veggie Vision TV online now for a fair few years, and the new look hopefully will be coming live next week. And there's some really big things in the pipeline, so if you feel that veganism deserves a place on TV, even if you don't like TV, because I hardly ever watch it, but I just think it's such a wonderful way to get the vegan word out there. So if you feel the same, maybe come along and check out Veggie Vision TV. Come and like us on Facebook and Twitter. We've got a really exciting afternoon lined up. Is anyone here to come along and enjoy the debate? Anyone? I can't hear you. Yay! Oh, good. Well, we're going to play out. We're going to have some good fun. It's going to be streamed live over the internet to billions of people. Maybe a few people. So we're going to have some fun. So we're just going to have about a 5-minute changeover, get ourselves all sorted out. So we'll have some cool music. Just sit down, enjoy your teas and coffees, and we'll come back when we've had our changeover. But thank you again for your support, and thanks for being there. And we'll come back in a few minutes. Thank you.
Try to keep you close to me, but life got in between. Tried to square not being there, but it's there that I should have been. Hold back the river, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river so wide, and stop for a minute and see where you hide. Hold back the river, hold back. Once upon a different life, we rode our back into the sky. Now we call against the tide. Those distant days are flashing by. Hold back the river, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river so wide, and stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back the river, hold back. Hold back the river, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river so wide, and stop for a minute and see where you hide. Hold back the river, hold back. Oh, 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 oh. Lonely water, won't you let us wander? Let us hold each other. Lonely water, won't you let us wander? Let us hold each other. Hold back the river, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river so high, stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back the river, hold back the river, let me
then was blessed by the gods of me and you. We headed west for to find ourselves some truth. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? We counted all our reasons, excuses that we made. We found ourselves some treasure and threw it all away. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? Caught in the tide of blossom, caught in the carnival. Your confidence forgotten, I see the gypsies roll. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. When I dance alone, I know I'll go, blame it on me. Oh, when I lose control, I know I'll go, blame it on me. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for?
Come on, hold my hand. I wanna contact the living. Not sure I understand this road I've been given. I sit and talk to God, and He just laughs at my plans. My head speaks a language I don't understand. I just wanna feel real love, feel the home that I live in. 'Cause I got too much life running through my veins, going to waste. I don't wanna die, but I ain't keen on living either. bed, I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my best. This and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again.
Pascal, we're good?
To win.
Okay.
Learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the global screening of the big debates at Vegfest UK London 2015. We're very, very excited to be screening all over the world now, live. So, big greetings to all our pals, especially in Australia. Caroline Bailey, Jordan Wyatt in New Zealand, Roger Yates in Dublin, all the London Vegan Actions team, and of course Veggies in Nottingham. And all our global listeners, Barbara de Gran in Texas, we're loving it. I'm very, very honoured to be joined by my wonderful moderator today, Miss Karen Ridgers, the original Essex girl. And we know that none of our audience or debaters will dare step out of line with Karen in charge. So, am I right?
Yeah.
On that note, what we're going to do is invite our panels up one by one, so you can give them a big hand as they come. We're looking today at the debate is about Ricky Gervais and Beyonce. Are they taking the animal movement forwards or backwards? Are they confusing the movement or are they helping the movement? So I'll just get that correct. Are they helping it or are they confusing it? So, without further ado, just to explain it, we'll have 6 minutes each from our speakers, uninterrupted please. Then there'll be a quick chance for some questions from the floor, which we're going to do totally at random. We'd ask you to be polite, of course, and quite succinct. And then we'll finish up with a 1 minute sum up from all our team, and then we'll have a quick show of hands. Just to say, the debate is also on Facebook. So there is a Facebook page on our Vegfest Facebook page that you can join in the debate. And again, I'd ask you to keep your comments respectful and give our moderator Wonder Pig an easy time. Thank you. Okay, so Karen, who's our first guest?
Let's have a look. Okay, please can we give a respectful welcome to our first guest? And what I want to say as well, and I'm going to say this next time, so sorry if I'm repeating myself if you're here for both of the debates, but respect is my biggest core value. That is why I'm vegan. I respect animals. I respect people. I respect the planet. I respect myself. That is one of the reasons that I am a vegan. And I want to see respect here. This is our space. My job is to look after you guys. We are in this together. We're going to invite some lovely people, some exciting people into our space. And we want to make sure we get the best out of them. So are we up for playing and playing fairly and respectfully? Does that sound good? We're vegans, we're fair, we're respectable. So my first guest that I'd like to introduce is Tobias Leonard, founder and CEO of the Belgium non-profit organisation EVA, and also blogger on The Vegan Strategist.
Here you go, Tobias, you sit there.
Okay. Do your next one.
Okay, right. On the other side here, we have, reckoning that Ricky and Beyonce are definitely confusing the movement, the Grumpy Old Vegans. Big hand for the Grumpy Old Vegans, thanks. Grumpy Old Vegans are two independent people who are just very interested in animal rights and the whole concept of ending exploitation.
Okay, and next we'd like to have Dubrusa Gogloza, and I hope I've said that right, co-founder and coordinator of the Network for Eastern European Animal Rights.
Hey, Dubrusa!
Thank you. Please take a seat.
And our fourth and final contestant, debater, panellist today is very, very lovely Kate Fitzgibbon, who is currently doing many things, one of which she also moderates Professor Franciane's page. Kate Fitzgibbon, welcome.
Another chair.
That's no problem, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine, yeah. I'll hold on.
Right, we all up for playing fairly and respectfully, guys? Who should we open it up to first? I think it's us guys that are in charge.
We've already agreed this.
Yeah?
Who did we agree? Can you remember? I think Tobias, you were going to speak first.
Sorry, guys. Decision's already been made, but we'll still play fairly. Tobias, can you speak into your microphone nice and clearly?
All right.
Ooh.
6 minutes,
6
folks.
minutes.
6 minutes. Off we go.
So my viewpoint would be that anybody who says that people like Ricky Gervais and Beyonce and maybe Ellen DeGeneres and other people are confusing the movement or confusing the people, I would say that these people are kind of confused about where our movement is at this point in time. We have a world where 60, 70 billion animals a year are eaten. And I think anybody who gives a message that goes in the direction of not doing that, of eating less of them, well, that's a good thing. That's a thing that will help us. This decrease in meat consumption is exactly what we need. And personally, I don't care if people would be a little bit confused about like what veganism might be, because it's not the end of the road. If people all imitate Ellen and they all become dietary vegans, but they still wear leather shoes, I mean, we can still be out there, telling them that leather shoes are not vegan. So I don't really see the problem. And I see a huge, huge benefit in these people. I mean, Ellen DeGeneres has 4 million fans, and Ricky has 11 million followers on Twitter or whatever. When was the last time you spread a vegan message to 11 million people, right? I don't know when that was. I think it is very strange to consider these people not to be part of us and to alienate them for not spreading the message the way we want it to be spread. I think we have to applaud everything that they do. I think we, of course, can have doubts about some of the things that they say and do, and maybe it's not the way we would say and do it, but well, we're not up there and they may have other concerns. Another point is that these people are people too. We seem to forget that celebrities are people too. We sometimes seem to hate celebrities. We think that everything goes where celebrities are concerned. And I think that if we encourage them, we are much more likely to get them on our side than if we criticize them all the time. I think these are people who are listening to all the criticism and all the encouragement that they get. I want to be on the side of the people that encourage them to make the right choices, not the people who criticize them for not saying the things we want to say. Okay, so in general, just summarizing, I think they're a very good thing. I think I think they have a huge, huge impact, and I think we should make use of them whatever way we can.
Thank you. Very well spoken. Is there anything you'd like to add to Tobias? Any final points? I can give you 30 seconds because you've come a long way.
No, I'll say something more later, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you for being so concise, and thank you for your respect, everybody, for not joining in when you shouldn't be. So that's very lovely. Okay?
Yep, off we go.
Would you like, are you going? Yes?
I think it's the Grumpies.
Yeah, here we have, can we have a round of applause for the Grumpies, please?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Are celebrities such as Ricky Gervais and Beyonce helping or confusing the animal rights movement and veganism? To answer this question, we first need to understand what the term animal rights actually means. It's become conflated and confused over the years, but if it means anything at all, it must mean that sentient beings have the basic right not to be considered property, to be exploited and used as we see fit. Unless that basic right is observed, then all other rights are meaningless. If we agree that this right exists, we have no option but to be vegan. It's clearly nonsensical to claim support for animal rights while continuing to participate in their exploitation. On this basis, we contend that celebrities like Ricky Gervais and Beyonce confuse the non-vegan public about both veganism and animal rights.
These are the reasons. Number one, those celebrities who present as vegan often continue to use animals in some ways. We've heard of Ellen DeGeneres and her leather range of footwear, or Natalie Portman consuming eggs while she's pregnant. How can we convey to the public what veganism means while there's so much rampant confusion and misrepresentation? Number two, veganism is often portrayed as a mere diet and for weight loss reasons, for example with Kelly Osbourne and Bill Clinton. This serves to add to the sizeism that's endemic in the movement, implicitly shaming larger vegans. It also suggests deprivation. Do we really want to suggest that to people? Backsliding is common. We view diets as temporary fixes. And of course, journalists who tried Beyonce's 22-day weight loss plan reported feeling hungry. Apparently the plan cost $609 to complete for 22 days. So the journalists expressed a sense of relief when they returned to what they considered normal eating. And this doesn't give an impression of what it's like to live as a vegan. Number three, vegans are misrepresented in derogatory terms such as purists and holier than thou. In fact, Ricky Gervais even went so far as to refer to vegans as mad, savage extremists. Now, how can this possibly be anything akin to good publicity for veganism? Number four, where moral concern for non-human animals is addressed, we have a hierarchy with companion animals at the top and farmed animals at the bottom. Ricky Gervais tells us that he doesn't want to eat a pet or a little friend, that he doesn't eat red meat because he tries to rule out any cruelty. But these categories are entirely arbitrary, and other animals continue to be harmed for palate pleasure, fashion, entertainment, and the public becomes confused about what we owe to non-human animals. Number five, animals are discussed in terms of treatment rather than use. When vegans pointed out to Ricky Gervais that the Yulin dog massacre was no different from what we do to the mass slaughter of cows, he reiterated the fact that it was the live skinning of the dogs that was the problem, rather than the actual killing. Number six, those who speak to animal issues without being vegan will tend to focus on the things to which most people are already opposed. Bullfighting, foie gras, hunting, and so on. There's really no message to transmit there. If people are mostly already opposed to them, they're not doing any good. The further allows non-vegans to compartmentalise their use of animals. 7, celebrities who talk about animal issues are often unreliable and inconsistent. Ricky Gervais, for instance, condemned Rebecca Francis for killing a giraffe because she said she was going to use the giraffe's body to feed people, and yet he condemned Walter Palmer because Cecil wasn't killed for food. So there's complete inconsistency. And 8, those who continue to exploit animals in some ways while speaking out for them in others are often lauded by the large animal organisations as heroes or exemplars. And this sends out the message that one doesn't need to be vegan in order to be an effective voice for animals. This is the exact opposite of the message that we need to convey. Ricky Gervais said, if you don't have empathy for animals, you don't have empathy. But this empathy must be extended to all animals in all situations of use, and not just the ones who pull on the heartstrings or in whose exploitation we don't already participate.
In short, there's no substantive evidence to suggest that when celebrities adopt some sort of position on veganism or animal rights, that brings any meaningful contribution towards bringing others to veganism or a position on animal rights. Indeed, the mention of veganism on the social media pages of these celebrities usually results in a maelstrom of derision and hostility from both the celebrities and their followers. Even if the awareness of a few people is allegedly raised, this is nullified many times over by the negativity often expressed by celebrities and their followers. Their misrepresentation of veganism and animal rights can only serve to make the task of vegan education even more difficult than it already is, as vegans have to struggle to dispel the false impressions left by these people. The insistence that every little helps is clearly mistaken and in fact does exactly the opposite. If enough people was given a box of fireworks, no doubt one or two of them would eventually discover rocket science. But this is hardly an effective way of creating the next generation of rocket scientists. By the same token, only unequivocal vegan education will create a vegan world and achieve justice for our non-human friends. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Excellent. Now we're going to have Dubrusa giving her viewpoint. Thank you. You have your 6 minutes.
Hello. So for me, veganism is not a goal. It's more like a tool that I'm using as an activist. And my goal is actually to make people stop eating meat and stop eating all the other animal products. And I feel that part of this discussion is too English language based. I don't know if many of you are aware of the fact that most of the world does not actually speak English as their first language. And for all of us, the word vegan is a borrowed word. So I think outside of the English speaking environment, we are not that focused on the word itself, because we have no reason for this to happen. We concentrate on actually explaining to people all the good reasons to stop using animal products. So because of this, part of this discussion for me is actually quite weird, I would say. And I became an activist because I wanted the society to listen to the message of empathy towards animals. And because of this, my organization mostly does investigations. With investigations, we were able to get to the biggest media outlets in the country. And I think that was really effective. But celebrities are also a shortcut to the media. When they talk, people listen. And I am animal rights activist because I want people to listen to the message of empathy towards animals. I think the discussion, like when we try to make this discussion only about celebrities, it becomes really shallow. What we should think about is who are the influencers in the society, who are the major stakeholders, who are the role models. It's not just Beyonce or some movie or some film stars or some music stars. Influencers are also writers, poets, politicians, and many other important people. We should work on getting them on board because this is how the society will be changed as a whole. As activists, we are on the fringes of the society. We are, by definition, extremists. And extremists are not being discussed by the major media, because this is how the society works. And celebrities, on the other hand, are a mainstream, also by definition. So, in a way, the fact that they are willing to discuss animal issues legitimizes the whole concept in such a way that media are somehow allowed to talk about this as a mainstream concept, not as this fringe or extreme concept anymore. And another important thing with how we react towards celebrities becoming vegan, even if we are not happy with what they actually do, even if we are not happy with their type of veganism or something like this, if we are aware of the fact that whatever they do is being observed and is being analyzed by the media, by people, by social media, we also have to be aware that if we attack them publicly, we send a strong message that any person that tries but fails in their way to become like fully vegan will be severely and viciously attacked by the vegans. And that's a very bad message, and this is something we should really, really avoid. I also think that, and I hope, that if we are effective as activists, more and more people will become vegan, and celebrities are among them. And they will talk about this, because this is what celebrities do. They talk about their life, they talk about their private life, they talk about their choices, they talk about food they eat, their workout routines, and things like that. And this is where we have a choice. We don't have a choice on if they become vegan. We don't have a choice on what form their veganism has. But we have a choice on how we react to this. And we can either react by attacking them and calling them names because they are not as vegan as we want them to be, or we can engage in a dialogue with them and maybe teach them what full empathy towards animals should look like. And because of this, I would rather have a dialogue, and I would rather have as many vegan celebrities or meat-reducing celebrities, vegetarian celebrities as possible, because I understand that we live in a carnist society that mostly eat. Most of the people at the moment eat animal products, and they eat them a lot. So I want as many important people in the society on board. I want the issue be discussed by media as much as possible. We want the most important people in the society discuss. I want the animal issue to be treated as issue that's really, really important, that's vital, that's not only lifestyle but also political and social. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. And within time as well. Kate, I'd love to hand it over to you now.
Nothing can be more improper than ease and laxity in expression when the seriousness of the subject expresses solicitude, are the words of Samuel Johnson. I can't think of a subject more deserving of solicitude and expressed with such ease and laxity as animal exploitation. We have Beyoncé with her flirtation with a plant-based diet, which she makes all about herself. We must love ourselves, as she ostentatiously parades about in dead animals, calling it a spiritual cleanse. And Ricky Gervais with his single-issue campaigns and his concern for some animals while he actively participates in the exploitation of other animals. His millions of fans outraged at Cecil fawn over him because they want to justify their own animal exploitation. To give the right message to one person is a good thing. To give the wrong message to one person, aside from millions, can be nothing but damaging. What we are doing when we are supporting anyone or anything less than veganism, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about Beyoncé or Gervais or our friends and family, we are entrenching the odious concept that we have in society today that animal exploitation is normal and acceptable, and it's this concept that we need to turn around. As Gary Francione has said, there is one way to stop animal exploitation and there is one way to help the animals. We need to shift the paradigm away from animals that are here as commodities for us to use to animals as members of the moral community, as non-human persons. And this is never going to happen while we have animals on our backs, around our necks, on our feet, or on our plates. It's never going to happen without a strong movement of ethical veganism. And whether the animals' lives are depicted as happy or not, and I say that with sarcasm, they end up amid the noise and squalor of the same hideous slaughterhouse. And even if they were killed instantly and without pain, it would still be wrong. A child of 5 and my mentally disadvantaged aunt can understand this. If a small child is hitting his baby sister, we don't encourage, support, and reward less hitting. We need to be absolutely clear that no hitting is acceptable. We have Meatless Mondays, and you don't have to be vegan to love vegan things campaigns, and veganish vegans, chegans, vegetarians, flexitarians, reducitarians. We have Paul McCartney, who's been sitting comfortably in the mythical and damaging vegetarian gateway to veganism for the last 40 years, where he continues to exploit animals. He also benefits on a corporate level from Linda McCartney Vegetarian Foods. And he's held up as some sort of ambassador to animal rights. And although Morrissey has gone vegan, which is wonderful, it's taken him 35 years to get through the mythical gateway. And he brings with it a negative message about veganism, saying veganism is difficult and expensive. The only thing that's difficult about veganism is we live in a society that insists on normalising animal exploitation. And the only thing that's expensive is if we insist, as does Morrissey, on buying Stella McCartney shoes made in Italy. Veganism is depicted as difficult by superheroines who can say it's not for everyone. I profoundly disagree. Veganism is for every one of us. It's our birthright. We were all vegan at conception. We would all thrive in a vegan society, and I would like to think every one of us in such a society would be outraged at the current state of this society. Animal exploitation destroys our health. It destroys the environment for all beings, but most importantly, it's a blight on our spirit and our soul. As Francione says, veganism is not an option in a world of ethics, it's a moral imperative, in which case we cannot justify eating, using, or wearing animals. And until we are vegan, we are actively participating in institutionalized or otherwise animal exploitation. Take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. What we are doing, whether we like to admit it or not, when we are supporting anyone, whether it's Beyonce or Gervais or the Pope or our father or our brother, who is not vegan, we are taking the side of the oppressor and the tormentor. Recently, a politician has said, talking about the livestock industry, I live in the real world, I'm not there to overturn that. If we were talking about humans, this would be considered shocking. But we're only talking about the millions of non-human persons that are slaughtered every year.
1 minute, Kate.
The billions, rather. Well, I live in the real world too, and I am there to overturn that. If every one of us who is vegan can persuade one other person every year, and they the same, to go vegan, we very quickly get our vegan United Kingdom and our vegan world. We were all born into this species of society. We reject animal exploitation by being vegan. Veganism is our future. Let's harness this future and bring it back to the present.
Absolutely outstanding. I feel that we hung on the words of everybody here. There's going to be time for questions. And I'd like to just make a few observations before we think about the questions that we're going to put to our panel. This is your opportunity to speak to these guys. Now, no matter what you think, every day these guys get up and step up for veganism and animals, whether it's the course that you would take or it's not. These guys are doing it. That deserves respect. I picked up a few points. Whatever these celebrities doing is being observed all the time. That's a responsibility. Don't know if I would like that at all, really. It's a borrowed word, veganism. Are we all going towards the same goal, even though it's a borrowed word? We invented the word. I'm very proud of that. Celebrities are people too. They've got feelings, you know, that we all make mistakes. I know I made some slip-ups when I first went vegan. Leather shoes, are we all right if someone wears leather shoes and says they're vegan? You know, are we going to point it out to them? There's lots of things. There's lots of things to discover and to talk about. And I'd also like to say, I feel it's all about education. I love to think that maybe what I do can educate the media about veganism, especially with my BFF Tim. Educating the media about veganism, and educating the celebrities about veganism. And you know what? I'd love to educate the celebrities about veganism. So if anyone knows any celebrities, tell me. I'd love to educate them, put them on the right track. Okay, guys, this is our space. This is your chance. Right, fairly and nicely. We've got hands up. Have you got good voices? Do you need a microphone? Stand up. He doesn't need a microphone. He's got a louder voice than me. Really loud and clear, respectfully. Cool.
I have a really simple question for everyone. Thank you, by the way, for your ideas. I'm more on enemy is my friend. But it feels like veganism is kind of a journey. You go through this spectrum that everyone is on. So my really simple question for everyone on the panel is, when you went vegan, if you were born into a vegan family or if you chose to make that decision yourself, did you just go overnight from consuming meat products to vegan, or was it a gradual process? And if it was a gradual process, don't you think that everyone deserves that chance to make that journey, and perhaps that's the same journey that these celebrities make?
Excellent. Round of applause. It's a journey. Do the celebrities, do they deserve that chance? So let's go to you guys first, the Grumpies. What do you think, the celebrities? It's a journey being vegan.
I'm going to let Francis answer this, but just to answer your initial question, I went vegan overnight.
I flirted with vegetarianism in my youth, but when I went vegan overnight as well. This is not a question of respecting anybody's journeys. This is not a question of telling celebrities they're doing it wrong or attacking anybody. This question is whether celebrities talking about animal rights is good or bad for animal rights and veganism. And I think that the celebrities aren't doing that. So how long they take to be vegan is... It's not a matter for us to say. All we can do when we advocate is say, tell people that they have a duty to align their beliefs about animals with their behaviour. But the question is, and I bring it back to this, is whether this is a good thing or a bad thing for the movement, for celebrities to be discussing these issues. And certainly if they're not vegan, then I don't think they're contributing usefully to the debate about veganism, except to teach us how we might advocate better. And certainly if they're speaking to animal issues and they're not speaking from a rights perspective, we can't say that they're adding anything of value to the discussion on animal rights either.
Thank you. I'd like to hand it over to the fours, please, as well. Ooh, feedback.
I didn't go vegan overnight. Even Gary Francione didn't go vegan overnight, even though he says so. But what's more important is that the stats show that 90% of the people don't go vegan overnight. So I think we should allow people, like you said, to have their own journey. And what's more, I think it's so strange that even the people who didn't go vegan overnight, they want the other people to go vegan overnight, supposedly because today it's so much easier than it used to be when we did it, So it doesn't make much sense, I think. And also keep in mind, please, that your own consumption is not everything. I think it's very arrogant of us to judge somebody like Paul McCartney for not being vegan, for God's sake. He's out there reaching millions of people, and we're going to judge them because he's not vegan like we are. So it seems to me like a vegan cannot do anything wrong, a non-vegan cannot do anything right. That's the way it feels to me that we judge these people. It's absolutely ridiculous in my view. Vegetarians take away 90% of the suffering. So please don't say that vegetarians don't do anything. People like Paul McCartney just confuse the movement and they just have no impact. They have a lot of impact. And the fact that they're not vegan, that's actually small stuff compared to the really enormous impact that we have. And I think it's very arrogant of us to sit here and say, like, I'm vegan so I can judge you because you're not.
I invite you to speak next, please.
I also feel, when I hear that we are not happy that celebrities are discussing veganism or animal issues, I think we are forgetting where we are. We are in a society that doesn't care about farmed animals almost at all. And at this moment, any person that actually starts the discussion is a good news.
If we support anything less than veganism, then we're going to get less than veganism. If we're completely clear that veganism is the moral baseline, it's the very least we can do in a world of ethics, then perhaps that message could get across a little bit more clearly, and perhaps we'd have a more speedier movement towards veganism. If we were talking about a human rights issue, if we were talking about rape or child molestation, we would never encourage journeys or baby steps. We would be absolutely clear that this is unacceptable and it needs to stop. I wish that I had been given a much clearer message when I went vegetarian at the age of 14 about the imperativeness of veganism. And I think if that message was made clear to everyone else, then people might receive that message with clarity.
Okay, if you just compare it to civil rights, that every single civil rights movement that we've ever made has been incremental steps. Every single one. Which was the original question.
Well, I mean, that was 30 years ago. And I mean, there is no need for anyone in this room, or actually anyone in this country, to not just go vegan tomorrow. There's no reason. You know, we've got all the food that we need, and what's the reason to not? Other than speciesism.
Guys, just got to say, when we ask a question, we'll just wait for the microphone so that it's picked up by the live streaming, because we're aware that those listening live streaming possibly missed those two questions. Next question. One more question. Lady in the front there. Just wait a second while the microphone's coming. Here he comes.
Nearly here.
Thanks.
Thank you. I hope I haven't forgotten what I was going to say, but going back to the lady next to the gentleman on my left. You're saying, sorry, I couldn't remember her name. You're saying that people generally don't care about animals. I think that people are unaware of the plight of animals. I was unaware for 30 years. I was a vegetarian. I have been a vegan now for 15 years. And I was unaware. I believed I was doing right. The other thing I have to go on is to say that we don't have time. Although all the time that people are taking these baby steps, that people are saying, well, I'm doing my best, we don't have time. Those animals are still being slaughtered, are suffering. So it's all very well for various people to say...
Could we have a question, please?
Oh, well, I was just responding to the words that were being said up on stage. I apologise for the question. Can I not do that?
Oh, if you could just ask a question.
But there was no question.
There was no question, right, beg your pardon.
Thank you.
Okay, one more question. Little boy. Little fella, here go. Wait for the microphone, please.
Round of applause. It's very brave to speak up. Do you want to stand up and tell us your name? Come on, do it. You can do it. Brave. Yeah. I really wanted to do it. Look, round of applause. Yeah.
Like, people ask me what's the difference between vegetarianism and veganism, and I say, well, the difference is that, like...
Come on, you can do it. Come on, come on.
I say it's because vegetarians only eat meat, and I was... No, I don't. I mean, sorry. Not leather. So yeah, vegetarians don't eat meat, and that's the only thing they don't eat. Now, I was like that, and I thought I was doing good, and then my mum went vegan, so I decided to go vegan just after her. And yeah, there's a lot that's left out. Like, I didn't know about honey. I thought I was been vegan. So.
How old are you, darling?
11.
The compassion in children is mind-blowing. They don't need a debate. They know the truth. They know the answers. What's your name?
Derry.
Derry. When did you go vegan, Derry?
2 years ago, or 2 or 3.
On your feet, guys. On your feet. To step up and stand up and give that, absolutely fantastic. Derry, is there anything you want to add quickly? Because we're time out now. You're a star, thank you. I wish a lot of people and a lot of kids will follow your example. I think in a few years, maybe next year, you'll be up here with us. Well done. Well done. Quick wrap up, guys, and then we've got another debate, and we've got Pig Floyd as well, which is super cool. We're going to have a really quick whiz around the table and a wrap up. We're going to start with you. Put you on the spot. I like to do that.
Yeah, I just agree with the baby step approach. With the step approach, somebody said like we don't have time for steps. We don't have time for baby steps. I would say we don't have time for anything that's not the most effective as possible.
Grumpies?
1 minute. Sum up.
Okay.
Or less.
Well, when we're talking about veganism, we're talking about the fact that you do not use animals at all. It's got nothing to do with vegetarianism or reducitarianism or flexitarianism or any other ism that you may want to mention. It's got everything to do with veganism. Okay? There are enough non-vegans advocating non-veganism in this world. We need to make it absolutely clear to the public what veganism is and what we think they ought to do about it. Now, if people want to actually take some time, have a journey over their over arriving at veganism, that's fine, but we should never give them permission for that journey. We should say, take your time, do what you want, but we should make it absolutely clear that the end goal is veganism, and this is what veganism means. These celebrities, yes, when they talk, people do listen, but they're talking the wrong talk.
Before I joined the animal rights movement, I was involved mostly in feminist movement. I was a feminist before I became a vegan and before I became an activist. And for me, it's a strange concept to have a movement that tries to have this message. Like, feminists don't tell you to go feminist overnight now, because this is what will bring justice to women. People who want a sustainable environment wouldn't just tell you, hey, go become an ecologist overnight, because they will tell you all the different ways on how to get to these goals. And for me, this training in other social movements that I had, I believe it gave me a bit different approach, and I think we should definitely learn from other social movements, and probably if we did that, we wouldn't have such discussion today.
Thank you.
Ricky Gervais and Beyonce are celebrities who have their say. Beyonce's diet of 22 days of plant-based food, just a passing phase. And Ricky Gervais, for all his campaigns, just loves to harm those whom he loves, so he claims. Fish, sheep, hens and cows and those with the snout. How is it now, Ricky? These simply don't count. Look, friends, it's as simple can be. If we care, we don't eat them for breakfast or tea. Being vegan is easy, not some sort of dream, and we know that to harm them is evil and mean. So let's support justice with one voice, yes, let's. No messy campaigning, no trite baby steps. And Ricky Gervais and Beyonce just need to be quiet and keep out of the way until they are vegan forever and a day. And thank you, Tim Barford. And thank you, Tim Barford, that I had my say.
Oh. Outstanding.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely made up to hear such eloquent and persuasive and intelligent debate. The debate will continue. It's going to continue on Facebook. You're welcome to have your say. There's also a poll on the Vegfest Express site, so you can also have your say in the poll. So this will go on for another 24 hours or so for the poll. So personally found this incredibly interesting. Tobias, DeBrusha have really made some really strong cases and spoken for a lot of people here. I feel that the Grumpies and Kate have just really spoken for the animals. And I think it's a fascinating debate and one that will continue. So I'd like to say a personal thanks very much to all our people who've taken part here. And I'll just hand back to Karen now to wrap up.
Okay. I thought it was absolutely outstanding. You think you sort of know the right answer, and I've spent this whole weekend learning so much and hearing some incredible, outstanding speakers. I don't know, we're all on this, it is a journey, you're right, it is a journey. I wish for many people it would start at such a young age when they know the answer, there's no debate. I find it fascinating. I do feel that it is about education, as I said. Educating the media is vital because they can spread our message, and it's educating the celebrities. We can't stop the celebrities being vegan. I want everybody to be vegan. I want a vegan planet. There's no two ways about it. But it's all about education. And hey, how better than to come to the Vegfest and see the abundance of veganism. I mean, hey, do we need to exploit animals? Look around at the Vegfest. Thank you for playing so nicely. And thank you to these gorgeous, wonderful people that just step up on a daily basis and they add their voice for the voiceless, for the animals that can't speak. And I'm really moved to be here, and it's a pleasure. I hope I've served you well. Stay here for the next debate, because if you lose your seat, you ain't getting your seat. It's been heaving all weekend. Thank you. And I just want to can you guys, round of applause for you guys, because you've been outstanding. Thank you for your respect. You know what? I'm from Essex, I'm going to do this. I want to take a picture from this. Awesome. Thank you so much again. Huge love for Tim Barford. Without Tim Barford, there would be no Vegfest.
Well done. Thanks very much. There's going to be a short interval of 5 minutes whilst we change over the speakers. At 4 o'clock there's going to be an appearance from our novelty act, Pig Freud, who is the Thinking Pig's pig. And then at 4:15 the big debate will continue with the debate about single issue campaigns. So 4 o'clock, Pig Freud, 4:15, the debate continues. Thanks very much.
I don't need to say anything now.
Oh, well, what we need to do is get the stage set.
Yeah, fold them up, get them off.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture.
Hello, 1, 2.
And I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture.
Hello, 1, 2.
Well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. I want you to come on over and stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Okay, hello. My boys and girls, just 1 second. So, ladies and gentlemen, just during the interval here now, before the big debate starts at 4:15, are we all good live screening? We say hello, global audience? Yeah, we're down with that. Okay. Just briefly, I'm going to be introducing the Novelty Act for Vegfest UK London 2015. Indeed, he will be with us hopefully for some period of time. We have a pink fluffy pig by the name of Pig Freud, who is indeed the thinking pig's pig, who very shortly is going to come out and play some guitar for a short period. And there will be some messages displayed by the pig from his intelligent thinking process. Pig Freud has been studying animal rights justice and has indeed been studying on Animal Rights Zone. And he would like to say a big thanks to all the Animal Rights Zone people, especially Caroline Bailey, for the amazing moderating that she does. And Pig Freud basically is all about peaceful vegan education, and really following on from the whole sort of debate is about how is the most effective activism, what can we do to end the exploitation of animals, and many of us would agree that the best way to help end the exploitation of animals is indeed to partake in consistent, peaceful, creative vegan education. Pig Freud is on tour. He will be opening the festivals and supporting some grassroots activities, and Karen will be telling you a little bit more. I just had a word with him. He's actually in the toilets throwing up at the moment. Bless him. He's a little bit nervous, so I'm going to go and get him and sort him out. But he's been, he's a bit nervous, to be honest. He's visually challenged, Pig Freud. His trotters are also slightly problematical when it comes to fretwork, but we've been working on that. By his own admission, he's not actually that good. But so what? Because what he's saying is that anybody, all of us, can get up and use whatever ability or talent or lack of talent or lack of ability that we may or may not indeed possess. Well, it doesn't really matter, because if you get up with the right heart and the right spirit, and whatever you do, if you speak from the heart, or if you play from the heart, or if you perform from the heart, or if you create from the heart, and it carries a vegan message, that message can carry very, very much further than your talent should ever permit. Because it's not really about how good you are, it's about whether you're going to get up and be a voice for animals. So when he comes, give him a big round of applause, put up with him and share him on Facebook. He does have a crowdfunder. He's supporting grassroots regional vegan activism, and you'll be glad to know that he's only going to do one number today, and when he's finished, we will be welcoming back all our presenters for, of course, the big debate, of which we will all be looking forward to. Thank you very much.
You know what? I thought I liked the microphone until I met Tim. He likes it more than I do. Go and check out Pig Freud. Yeah? Okay. Well, yeah, it's a nice treat. I mean, only at the Vegfest could we have Pig Freud. Only at the Vegfest. You all enjoying yourselves here? Who's a Vegfest virgin and not been to one before? Yay! Woo! All enjoying it? Having fun? So many people have said to me they're really super surprised at how actually bonkers busy everything is. Have you found the same? Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it, that everybody here is learning about veganism, and most people, well, not most, there's a huge amount of people, I'd say over half, that are not actually vegetarian, let alone vegan. And it's wonderful that they're getting to find the abundance of vegan food, and the amazing fact that we don't actually have to exploit animals to eat, for our clothes, for anything, and it's all here under the Vegfest. Pig Freud, yeah, he's going to be coming out in a couple of minutes. He has got a crowdfunder, what Tim has mentioned earlier, and he's doing a fundraising tour. Now, Pig Freud, being an animal himself, Pig Freud loves all animals, whether they're pigs, other animals, or humans. There's no difference, is there really? A pig, a cat, a dog. And Pig Freud actually loves humans, which, I think is quite amazing, really. He would love to try and help people go vegan and stop eating and using animals. So he really is well worth your support. He's got a very good talent. He loves playing the electric guitar, and actually he's rather good at it as well, which is quite surprising. We've got some dates. Obviously, he's playing for us today. He's going to be at the Northern Vegan Festival in Manchester next Saturday. Anyone from Manchester at all? Or are we all sort of Londonists south? Woo, we've got Manchester, yay. Do you know about the Vegfest in Manchester? You've got to go, 17th. I think, didn't I spot? Yeah, see, it's got flyers already, be flyering you, getting you to go to Manchester, up north. I've just about left Essex, so it's like going to a different country for me. Then we've got the West Midlands Vegan Festival. Anyone from the West Midlands? Well, Pig Floyd is going to be there anyway, so that's great. That's on the 24th of October. Then we've got the 1st of November. He's going to the Dublin Vegfest. Dublin Vegfest. Anyone here from Ireland? Oh, woo, that's cool. You're going to the Dublin Vegfest? No, yay, I don't know. It's the 1st of November, if you want to put it in your diary. Okay, the 15th of November, we've got the North East Vegan Festival. Anyone from the North East? What is the North East? Is it Newcastle? Yeah? She knows everything, that lady there in the middle. She's lovely, and she's in a band. Why aren't you up here with Pig Floyd? Why are you sitting there laughing? Should be up here with Pig Floyd. Let's have a look. So, and the next one, anyone coming to Scotland? Vegfest Scotland on the 5th of December. Do you fancy a nice long weekend up in Glasgow? It's going to be fantastic. We've never been to Scotland before. I'm super excited to leave Essex, leave London, and go up to Scotland. So pick up these little flyers, support and love Pig Floyd, because he's really, really cool. And you know what? If you've heard me talk before, you know that I love to have the loudest, noisiest room in the whole of the Vegfest. So can we just really give a super round of applause to Pig Floyd? Really scream and make, come on, we're vegan, we're at a vegan festival, show me some love. Everyone outside is going to wonder what the hell's going on. Yeah, come on, pick it up, Pig Floyd. Ooh, get out of the way. Hello, am I on? I think we can do better than that. Come on. How often do you see Pig Floyd, the world's first guitar playing pig, spreading the vegan love all throughout the UK and throughout the world? Fantastic, Pig Floyd. Well, we're going to have just a little changeover. and get these bits and bobs sorted out, and then we're going to have our next debate. OMG, are you excited? Woo! I love a woo! I'm really excited. For those of you, who don't know me, I'm Karen Ridgers. I'm doing my very best to address the fact that there's no bloody veganism on TV. Why the hell not? If anyone agrees, please let me know. Why is veganism not on TV? I run Veggie Vision TV, a humble, the TV Times said an extremely low budget answer to the fact that there's no veggie stuff on TV. Thank you, I was grateful for the mention, but you didn't have to highlight the fact that it's completely low budget. But I was grateful to be in there anyway. I run Veggie Vision TV. Please come and find me on Twitter and on Facebook. We've got a brand new look coming live very, very soon. And also there's some really big plans for Veggie Vision, so I'm very, very excited. As I say, we're going to have this changeover. We're going to play some fabulous music. Just loving the DJ. Let's hear it for the DJ. He's not really a DJ. He's got 20 million jobs, but he's playing some pretty cool music. And then we'll come back and we'll do the debate. Oh, really excited. So thank you, and let's have some cool tunes. Yes.
My face above the wall.
I keep going to the river to pray.
I can see the sands on the horizon every time you are not around. I'm slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave. I'm slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the wave, drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave. I'm slowly drifting. My face above the water, my feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like I can see the sands on the horizon every time you are not around. I'm slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave. I'm slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the.
My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beauty focused EOU. Ooh, you, ooh, I'd leave it all. My acres of land I've achieved. It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, ooh, I'd leave it all. Ooh, for you, ooh, I'd leave it all. And give me one good reason why I should never make a change. And baby, if you owe me, then all of this will go away. My many artifacts, the list goes on. If you just say the words, I'll up and run. Oh, to you, ooh, I'd leave it all. Oh, to you, ooh, I'd leave it all. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you owe me, then all of this will go away. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you owe me, then all of this will go away. My friends and family, they don't understand. They fear they'll lose so much if you take my hand. But for you, ooh, I'd lose it all. Ooh, for you, ooh, I'd lose it all. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change.
Hello. Did we enjoy Pink Floyd? Yes.
Yeah.
He's live. You can share him on Facebook. He'll be around for a couple of months. I'm sure you'll have had enough of him in a bit. But meanwhile, his crowdfunder is live. If you want to support grassroots activism, feel free. So, the big debate.
Woo! Am I on? I like to have a microphone.
Yeah, we can't shut you up, my lovely.
I do like a nice microphone, but my dad said I didn't need one. My voice was so bloody loud. But I like a microphone. Sorry.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Here we are. We're going to be nice and short and sharp with this because we're just slightly overrunning. The big debate, we're going to be looking at single issue campaigns. Just to remind you, the debate does go on Facebook. You can find it on the Vegfest UK Facebook page. There's a designated Facebook event page for it. And we very much encourage respectful debate and engagement. Please do keep your comments polite and respectful because we all want to learn here. And of course, it doesn't help if we degenerate into ridiculous comments and what have you. So, the debates will also, as you know, be streamed live. So hello everyone to our global audience.
Hello.
Hi.
Come on, give them a nice hello.
Yeah, come on, let's make some noise for the global audience. That's it. And without further ado, the big debate, we'll look at single issues. I'm going to ask Karen Bridges to introduce our first panellists.
Woo, thank you. But before I do, I'm just going to be really quick. Listen, guys, I said this earlier if you were here. My biggest core value is respect. That is why I am a vegan. I respect animals. I respect the planet. I respect myself. And that is one of the reasons I am a vegan. I want respect. We're going to have respect. This is our space, mine and yours, our space. We're inviting these amazing people to come and share our space. We're going to do it respectfully because that's why we're vegan. We're vegan, aren't we? Come on, most of us are going to be vegan here. We are respectful, and that's what we're going to do. Are you ready to play out on this amazing debate?
Woo.
Ready to play?
Wicked.
Okay, first of all, I am going to ask the most lovely Tony Wardle, Associate Director of Viva, to take the stage. Thank you. Huge round of applause for Tony Wardle.
Here we go, Tony.
You sit there. Okay.
And from the backwards camp, not a very polite way of saying it, but for those who believe that Singlish are taking the movement backwards, could we please have a big hand for Mr. Marcus Dredge?
He wants to walk the long way round. We don't mind. Come on, get your skates on. Right, okay. And next, I'm absolutely delighted to introduce Victoria Iserman, the CEO and co-founder of the K9 Angels. Please give a huge round of applause for a very beautiful and dear friend of mine.
And to complete our panel today, opposing, or rather proposing that single issue campaigns do take indeed the movement backwards, we all welcome for Professor Gary Francione.
OMG.
There we go, Gary. Okay, thank you. You'll probably be familiar. What we're going to do is ask our four panellists to present 6 minutes uninterrupted, what their own views are. Then we'll be inviting a couple of questions from the audience, which we'd ask you just to wait until you get the microphone. And what we would ask is that you ask a question. Please don't just stand up and talk. Ask a question to one of our panels. We're a bit short of time. And then at the end, we'll be asking our guests to sum up in 1 minute. Then there'll be a little show of hands for a vote. As I said, it all goes on Facebook. Also, on the Vegfest Express, you can vote. There's a poll running until tomorrow. So, Karen.
Okay, so we've heard the plan of action. 6 minutes from each of our wonderful panellists, completely uninterrupted by panellists and by us guys, okay? So we're going to start off with the wonderful Tony Wardle.
To state the obvious, I'm an old geezer, and I was born before the Second World War broke out. As a consequence, I've lived through extraordinary social change. And that's what this debate is really about, social change and how to achieve it. I've seen hanging abolished, homosexuality and abortion legalised, and racial hatred outlawed. I've witnessed the rise of feminism and the battle for women's equality, amongst other gains, and I've played a part in some of them. Were these single-issue campaigns, or were they each a strand in a much bigger campaign to advance human rights? For 20 years, I've been involved in another fight for social change, animal rights and veganism, and it isn't easy. Most people don't want to change their diet, and the establishment and mass advertising constantly tell them that things are fine, that they don't need to change. On top of this are their concerns over paying the rent, keeping their job, their kids' schooling, whether their bum's too big, granny's flatulence. It's called living. And we're competing with all these demands. Try knocking on the door of a struggling single mum and talking to her about moral baselines, property relations, sentience and cognitive characteristics, and see where it gets you. Yet these are the people we have to change in their millions. They don't change because an academic produces a theory, but when people talk to them in their own language, when they're given encouragement and support, when they're offered understanding. You don't tell them they're animal abusers because they fail to go from carnivore to vegan overnight. We applaud any positive move because for most people it's a major step and it's the start of understanding. Education is about attainable goals, and you don't make rigid demands, and when people fail to satisfy them, write them off, and anyone with kids knows this. Every survey shows that most people change their diet because of animal cruelty. That's why we go undercover and film the shocking images we do. Once we've sown those images in people's minds, they're hard to get rid of. One picture is worth 1,000 words. A little boy's body washed up on a beach changed perception of the Syrian civil war. A girl running with her back on fire from napalm turned Americans against the Vietnam War. and black people sitting passively in all-white restaurants while food was poured over their heads defined the US civil rights movement. Which brings me to Martin Luther King Jr., that giant of a man who knew more about social change than anyone in this hall. And he set out the 6 steps essential to achieve it. First, gather information. Viva does that daily on every aspect of veganism. Educate others. We produce a massive educational materials, from scientific reports to leaflets. We have an army of door droppers. We send speakers into thousands of schools every year, and we give hundreds of talks. We have an online recipe club and a cookery book. All of them carry the Go Vegan message, and it's backed up with our 30-day vegan campaign to get people started. Step 4 is direct action. We've been putting people on the streets for 20 years, sending our investigators into farms and slaughterhouses to film the reality and publicising it. Our press, TV and media coverage reaches millions of people every year. Critics say that if we expose cruelty to pigs, we're implicitly condoning cruelty to other animals, encouraging people to eat them. It's like telling human rights activists that to highlight the suffering of Palestinian children is to condone the suffering of Syrian children. People aren't stupid. When they see cruelty to a pig, they don't rush out and buy a leg of lamb instead. It makes them question all meat production, and research supports this. Thousands of people have thanked us for helping to go vegan, and often they quote a particular image as being their tipping point. Because our exposés have saved some animals from acute suffering, we're told without a shred of evidence that we're welfarists and set back veganism. How long are we supposed to wait to leave animals in agony at the mercy of an unproved theory? 20 years? 30 years? More? Not us, not Viva, not ever. Have our campaigns worked? According to researchers Mintel, 12% of the UK population is now vegetarian or vegan. According to the government, meat sales are going down, and last year 83 million fewer animals were slaughtered, the equivalent to everyone in Britain giving up meat for 1 month a year. This is historic, this is social change in action. Step 5 is negotiate. We cheer people who go vegetarian because in a lifetime they save 11,000 animals. Fish, chickens, pigs, sheep, ducks, turkeys and so on. About 3% less than vegans.
1 minute, Tony.
Sorry?
1 minute.
Thank you. We then encourage them to go further because 90% of all vegans, even those in this hall, all became vegetarian first. Martin Luther King's final instruction is stark. Reconcile. Agree to disagree with some people's actions or some groups' policies. Agree to disagree. You have to be extremely opinionated to contradict Martin Luther King, the great reformer Jeremy Bentham, and almost every animal group in the world. But that's the position of my opponents. And they do it without a single strategy for reaching the millions of meat eaters who we need to change and who have absolutely no interest in esoteric debates about moral baselines. Whatever name you put on Viva campaigns, we are changing attitudes by the same methods that have civilized society in the past. In a moment, you'll be told, I've got it all wrong. Sift through the rhetoric in search of facts and successes. I've shown you mine, you show me yours.
Oh, come on, guys. Give it up for the Tony Wardle. Even people standing up in the audience. Fantastic.
Okay. Well, some stirring words from Tony. And we'd like to now invite Marcus Dredge to give his opinion.
We're also familiar with the refrain, sign our petition against dog meat, send us a donation so we can oppose kangaroo leather. A vegan argument on behalf of single-issue campaigns, how we've come to commonly understand them at least, can only be defended via subterfuge, duplicity, and a secret agenda of, I know we did that, but we're really saying one thing and we mean another. Our alternative is a consistent and rational message of veganism as the moral baseline. Over the decades, we have had the opportunity to observe and think critically about the standard way that the animal organisations utilise their authority as supposed experts on these matters. The never-ending to and fro dance led between campaigners and industry over fur popularity is a prominent failure. I recently saw a campaign to stop grouse being kept in cages. That would be the same grouse who are bred in order to be shot. The big animal rights organisation involved makes no grander request of the public than that they ask for the birds to be bred for shooting in a supposedly nicer way. So often they target the exotic other. Think of the campaigns surrounding niche markets for flesh and fur from dogs or cats in foreign lands. This coming from countries where we exploit and cause suffering to billions of farmed animals who are no less sentient. Think of Viva's campaign against kangaroo leather. We single out the animal that is exotic to us here, but how many people do you even know who would wear kangaroo skin in the UK? The very same UK where virtually every citizen is using the skins of cows on either their feet or is in seating, bags, purses or jackets. Why the disproportionate amount of time given to a focus on fur when leather is so much more profuse? The only implication can be that cow exploitation is more acceptable or that cows matter less than the furry victims. The single issue campaign is all too often used as a way of criticising some niche use that other groups partake in, absolving the donor base of their sins and letting them know that by not shooting grouse or wearing fur or using kangaroo skins that they've done their bit and they merit the animal rights expert seal of approval. Again, the public assumes that the big orgs are the authority on what our obligations are to the individuals from other species, and why wouldn't they? Of course, none of these unusual categories of exploitation apply to the average UK citizen, so what it comes down to in the end is feel-good, but ultimately hollow victory announcements and donations, plenty of donations. Viva have just announced that Tesco will no longer carry kangaroo meat this time. The kangaroos surely salute you, but the standard farm animals who will replace them in the meals don't. These campaigns do nothing to reduce total demand for animal products. The big animal organisations are reliant on public funding and need plenty of donations in order to perpetuate the bureaucratic operations. As such, their message must not be controversial, and it instead welcomes all comers into a feel-good backslapping. Non-vegan money is sought, and therefore a largely non-vegan, confusing message is what is used to appeal to them. I personally experienced this in Lincolnshire when Viva came to town to attach themselves to the campaign against the local Nocton mega dairy proposal. It was eventually rejected on environmental grounds, and as we know, farming cows is very pollutive. But that didn't stop them claiming it as an animal welfare victory. Regardless of the undeserved credit, what was the victory exactly?
A point of order.
No interruption, please.
No. The demand for cows and their milk had not been reduced, new vegans hadn't been created, and the ever-growing demand for dairy products will simply be met from another location. Another example I can draw on, again featuring Viva I'm afraid, was at a local vegan festival in Lincoln. Tim has now brought in this greater emphasis on veganism, but generally vegan festivals can offer up a confusing mishmash of single-issue campaigns vying for the public's attention. This one was no different, and while all products had to be suitable for vegans, the campaigning was without any consistent vegan education focus. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that veganism is buried away in their literature somewhere, but signs such as Go Viva Veggie were the prominent ones. Not only do they shoehorn their brand name into the campaign needlessly, but with veggie generally referring to the consumption of eggs and dairy, you are actually promoting the use, exploitation, suffering, and killing of farmed animals. We injected some unequivocal vegan education into one single stall, and we overheard Viva's director and founder call us trouble causers and suggest that we should go and be radical somewhere else. Radical was presumably intended as a slur given the context, but its etymology is an empowering one, from the root. Independent grassroots actions are the very thing that scares the animal advocacy industry. They seek to disempower people from pursuing their own grassroots efforts and instead create a state of dependence with all roads leading through their machine. Essentially getting paid to offer diluted, confusing single-issue campaigns to the public. Sign this petition, cheerleaders, as we claim meaningless victories. Go vegan if you're radical, but most of all, please send us your donations. You are free to reject the status quo of learned helplessness, and remember that the power is yours to encourage a real, actual cultural shift in favour of genuinely emancipating other animals. Giving time and effort to the tacit promotion of killing cows for your shoes instead of kangaroos simply won't get us there.
Okay, thanks, Marcus. Just to remind everyone, we're only limited on time. The debate will continue on Facebook, so obviously people want to reply and carry on debating. That will be on Facebook later.
Thank you. I'd like to hand over to Victoria now.
Is this mic working?
Yeah,
okay.
that's it.
Just to say, I'm extremely nervous. I've never done a debate before. I'm more used to either posing in front of the camera or running my charity that saves dogs. So actually to be up here for me is extremely scary. So excuse me if I muddle my words. I've been a vegan now for the last 11 years, and to be honest with you, I'm actually shocked that we have to have this debate in the first place. It frustrates me that the masses don't understand that eating meat is cruel, and they don't just stop naturally anyway. Is it really that difficult to see that imprisoning, raping, stealing the young from their mum, humiliating them to finally murder them is okay? Surely being a vegan should just come naturally. For me, my vegan journey started when I was 6 years old in the 70s. My dad brought home 2 fluffy chicks. I asked my father, why do we have fluffy chicks in the garden, but we have lamb on our table? Why are we eating lamb? My parents didn't actually know what to say to me. There wasn't much information out there in the 70s. I instinctively knew that eating meat was cruel, so I refused to eat it and became a vegetarian. But it wasn't to my mid-30s that I actually became a vegan after attending a talk run by Viva. Juliet Gallatley, the founder, was giving that talk. That was on the dairy industry. After that talk, at age 33, I became a vegan. Why am I telling you this? Because I believe for some people, the way to becoming a vegan is through emotive discovery. And at first, this is not always a clear message. So as a consequence, I think it's quite natural to people to latch on to single issue campaigns, messages, as this resonates with them, particularly in an area of discovery or interest that builds them to desire to learn more. Why do I say this? Because in order to understand the issue or issues, emotive appetite for learning is created, and the emotion is in part replaced and supported by the more objectivity and reasoned argumentation and informed choice, and therefore understanding. So my point is, unless people are able to latch on to a single issue or issues, they will at large degree not achieve a higher level of understanding and totally move forward with being a vegan. Perhaps there needs to be a more prioritised and clearer understanding of what the key single issues need to provide, and more consistent message regarding the morality of being a vegan. To that end, however, building understanding through the key single issues remains important and does have a place. Based on my own experience, I think they would. I actually agree with some of Frank and Marcus's views. There is no question that we need to be clearer and more focused on the meaning and understanding of what vegan means, and in context of a moral benchmark and framework. Because I believe there are different roads to becoming a vegan. However, there is an inherent dangers of creating, I do believe, racism overtones, stereotypes and generalizations, which is misleading and does take the movement backwards. A quotation that I found last night on Google, basically saying, enlightenment always begins in the dark. Therefore, my assertion will be that there are many roads to enlightenment, and any road is good. Ask yourself the following question: are there more vegans in the world today as a percentage of the world's population than there were 20 years ago? The answer, I believe, is yes, But let's not forget how many of them came to this point via a singular issue. Probably most religion, animal cruelty, speciesism, or personal health and well-being and the environment. So, what I'm saying is, surely if there's more vegans as the result of multiple single-issue campaigns, then the evidence is they do actually work. Because there are so many competing issues and single issues, priorities is a moral imperative, and the morality becomes the benchmark upon which a grassroots movement is founded. I believe, therefore, that they both have a place in veganism to take it forward, one not being at the expense of the other. So the bottom line is we both want the same thing, and we need to work out how we do this.
I'm not on. That's great. I don't think, oh yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you so much, Victoria.
That's amazing. Thanks, Victoria. It's really, really good. Again, just to say, the debate will continue. We're very interested in your views. To wrap up now, not to wrap up, but to now our fourth participant, warm welcome for Professor Gary Francione.
First of all, I want to repeat what I've said in every other session actually, before I repeat what I said in every other session, my partner and co-author, Anna Charlton, could not be here today. She's back in the States with our 6 rescued, abused dogs that we live with. Anna, I love you. I'm sorry you're not here. Okay, but I would like to repeat what I said before. I understand this is a heated issue. I don't question the sincerity of people on the other side. I just sincerely believe they are wrong. I'm sorry that this generates the sort of heat that it does, but I think that these are ideas that we need to discuss and that we need to explore, and we just, I think that it's not helpful to question the integrity of others. I don't question the integrity of Tony or Victoria, and I'm sorry that they seem to question mine. Let me say that I think that single-issue campaigns are problematic because, as I discussed before, they necessarily involve coalitions. The way a single-issue campaign works is you get a group of people together to oppose something like foie gras. In that coalition, there are going to be a lot of people who think foie gras is bad, but who continue to eat meat and have every intention of continuing to eat meat. They're not going to be part of that coalition if you're telling them that eating steak is the same as eating foie gras. The reason why they're there is they think they're different, and we're reinforcing that. So what we end up doing is promoting the idea that you can be an animal person by donating to an organization and not eating foie gras. That's the problem. There is no moral distinction between foie gras and steak and chicken and fish or whatever. There is no distinction whatsoever. We go we characterize these certain products. Single-issue campaigns generally, not always, but generally focus on products. Sometimes they focus on practices, but they often focus on products like fur, like foie gras, like kangaroo leather, okay? So we focus on these things and we characterize them as worse than other things. And they have to be characterized as worse, because if they're all characterized as the same, you don't have a coalition anymore. So it's really very important to understand this is how single-issue campaigns work. They promote speciesism in the sense that, as Marcus has discussed before, what's the difference between kangaroo leather and any other sort of leather? What's the difference between fur and wool? What's the difference between foie gras and steak? There is no difference. This is all completely artificial. Okay? It's completely artificial, and it is for the purpose of creating these coalitions. Where has it gotten us? I would like to suggest to you that single-issue campaigns have gotten us nowhere. Look at the one of the longest-standing single-issue campaigns is the anti-fur campaign. The fur industry is stronger than it's ever been. Because, the bottom line is when you get people to focus on single issues, they don't change. Nothing changes. You get people to go vegan, everything changes. But if they don't go vegan, nothing changes. It's been that way forever. It'll be that way forever. 35 years ago when I first got involved in this, everybody was talking about fur. Fur was the big thing. And now, 35 years later, have we won that one? Absolutely not. So what we end up doing, and single issue campaigns not only involve speciesism in terms of characterizing some animals as, we focus on the baby seals, and we say, oh, baby seals are terrible. Let's boycott Canadian seafood. Eat other people's seafood, but don't eat Canadian seafood until the Canadians stop clubbing the seals. These campaigns are speciesist. They promote the idea that some animals are more valuable than other animals. Look at the campaigns against eating dogs in Asia. Do I think people should eat dogs? Of course I don't think people should eat dogs. But what is the difference between eating a dog and eating a chicken or a fish? And the answer is there ain't no difference. It's all the same. But these campaigns, and I do understand, these organizations need broad donor bases. They have to have a broad donor base. So you try to keep your donor base as large as possible. I understand financially how it works. I don't think this is a good idea. I think it's encouraging speciesism. I also think it's encouraging discrimination. The anti-fur campaign has been nothing but sexist and misogynistic. The dog-eating campaign is vilely racist in terms of what it does with Asians. I mean, some years ago there was this halal campaign. As a matter of fact, I remember that's the last conversation I had with the folks at Viva, because I wrote something about how disappointed I was that Viva was pretending that halal was something that
1 minute, please. Thank you. 1 minute, please.
Okay. That consumers ought to, what consumers should do is go to places and, that they should do their bit. And this is a quote. I actually projected this before. Consumers should do their bit by not eating unstunned animals. I have been in kosher slaughterhouses. I have been in other slaughterhouses. They are all horrible. And the idea that we tell people that eating stunned animals is somehow morally better is, in my judgment, nonsense. One final comment. Tony talks about social justice movements. Martin Luther King would never have supported a racist free joke Monday or anything like that. The idea that we shouldn't be taking an absolute position on these issues. This is a fundamental issue of justice. If we are wrong to continue to exploit animals, it must stop. That doesn't mean we go club people over the head. That doesn't mean we insult people. It means we're clear.
Thank you. Okay, guys, this is your turn now. We're going to get a microphone over if you want to put your hands up. And remember, it's respectful and they're questions. And while we're getting the microphone to you, because obviously this is being streamed and filmed as well, let's have a think. I mean, veganism is our goal. Veganism is our goal, but many of us went vegetarian first. I did. I love what Victoria said. There's many different roads to becoming vegan. What's going to work for some person is not going to work for somebody else. I know Victoria, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but she heard of 650 starving dogs in Romania. What did she do? She got on a plane and fed them. She gave them medication. Is that wrong? She's a vegan. She saved the lives of 650 animals in one day. I grew up with Viva. I've only ever seen them promote veganism. These guys speak very passionately. We want the same thing. We all want the same thing, and it's different roads to get there. I'm going to invite you to speak. Thank you again to this lovely panel. And we've got the microphone. Sorry, we're going to make our lovely man run around. Who should we go to first, Tim?
Yeah, that guy's got the phone. If we could just, nice, short questions. Thanks.
Surely a single issue campaigner can be no worse than a vegan sitting at home watching TV.
Excellent. Great question. Thanks for kicking it off.
So friendly critique, but let's not be divisive.
Is there a question? Naughty. There's no question. Get that microphone out of his
Please,
hand.
boys, girls, we do
Come
want
on.
questions, not statements. Thanks.
This is a question to both sides as a bit of devil's advocate. Should we have a lower opinion of the majority in the way that we sort of appreciate what they're capable of, or should we believe that they're capable of exactly what we've gone through?
Okay, is that a question for one of the panel, please? Just one question to one member of the panel.
Yeah, I suppose that's for the single issue campaigns, right? Either.
Tony, would you like to answer?
What was the question?
Could you ask the question again, please?
I'm from Essex, I didn't get it.
With a bit more clarity then, yeah, okay. So basically, should we have a lower opinion of others to become vegan, considering we've done it ourselves?
We don't operate in a vacuum. As I said, people are getting information from all sorts of sources. They're confused, many of them. And what we have to do is to encourage them to change. I found it quite interesting. We've just had 12 minutes of Viva is obviously flavour of the month. We haven't had a single strategy for reaching the people that you're talking about. Not a single strategy. It's all been negative.
You can't address that?
Is it not more important that single-issue campaigns create more vegans than it is that they're philosophically correct or logically watertight?
Who's that addressed to?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
I don't. It's not a question of they're being logically watertight. It's a question of they don't work. They promote animal exploitation. They promote human discrimination. I mean, the comment's been made that Viva only promotes veganism. That's absolutely false. Go, if your phone is connected to the internet, go to their website. On every single page, what you can do is go veggie/vegan or eat less meat. I am sorry, but I do not see how that is not promoting animal exploitation. I really don't.
It provides the same information for all three buttons.
It's not a question. It is not a question. It's not a question of it being logically airtight. It's a question of single-issue campaigns are promoting animal exploitation. They necessarily promote animal exploitation because what they're doing is they're saying, don't eat foie gras, but eating these other forms of animals, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. And that's a serious problem. It's not a question of logically watertight. And I also think that, we have this idea that people are too stupid to understand a vegan message. That is such elitist nonsense. I cannot understand why anybody believes that. People can understand. People can learn. We can educate people. And Tony's saying there's no strategy. There is a strategy. It's all of us first of all of us being committed vegans, and all of us educating, using creative, nonviolent methods of education. We could, if each of us educated one other person to go vegan, if the 150,000 vegans in the UK educated one other person, and we did that every year, the entire UK would be vegan in 10 years. And we wouldn't be having one single issue campaign after another and being told that don't wear kangaroo leather, wear other sorts of leather, don't eat foie gras, eat other sorts of meat. That's got to end.
Look, we can't keep having these statements which are untrue.
Okay, we're going to let...
Sorry, if you'd like to make your plan, 1 minute.
Go on.
Our whole kangaroo leather campaign was to change to synthetics, and we succeeded. Adidas, Nike, and all the other manufacturers turned to synthetic leather, and we prosecuted that campaign because we wanted to stop kangaroos, a wild animal, being exterminated. We wanted to stop the industry before it got started, and we did a damn good job of it.
Okay, we have one more question.
Hi. It's pretty obvious that everyone on here seems to be advocating veganism. From my point of view, veganism is about animals. So if an organisation is advocating vegetarianism, that surely cannot be coming from an animal's point of view. We're just coming from a human-centric point of view.
Could you tell me what your question is, please? What's the question?
Why aren't we just advocating veganism?
We're all doing that, but we want to hear me your questions. This is your opportunity to speak to these amazing guys. Whether you love them, like them, Marmite, whatever, these guys are stepping up on a daily basis to make the world a better place. It might be a different route to what other people will take, but this is your chance, and I think we might have chance for one more.
One more question, yeah. Where's the mic?
I have it over here.
Do you have a question?
My question is to
Good.
Professor Francione, and if you could briefly describe for us what a single issue campaign is, to define that, whether it's going and feeding some dogs who are starving, whether that falls in under the heading of single issue campaign.
No, single issue campaigns are campaigns in which certain practices or products are identified as worse than other practices or products and should be the targets of campaigns. That's what a single issue campaign is. The idea of that a single issue campaign is Victoria going and feeding dogs, that's not what I've ever said is a single issue campaign. Single issue campaigns are campaigns that promote certain or characterize certain practices or products as worse than other products, and by implication, either explicit or implicit, basically say that consumption of the other products is morally less objectionable or even morally acceptable. That's what a single issue campaign is.
Okay, listen, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up to closing time now. We're at 5 o'clock, which is our official shutting time. So we're not going to entertain any more questions. What I'm going to ask is that our four speakers just sum up for 1 minute, and then myself and Karen will briefly wrap up the debate, and again invite you to continue debate on Facebook and make your vote on the Vegfest Express poll. So, Karen?
I think we hand over to...
Tim, is there not any time for me to ask Gary a couple of questions? Or?
No, we've got 1 minute now to sum up. So we'll start with Tony Wardle. Tony, if you'd like to have your minute summing up.
Okay. Well, we've been misrepresented in almost everything we do. We don't promote one animal over another. We campaign on all animals, and they're all given the same priority. But what I like Mr. Francione's logo, if you like, the world is vegan if you want it. Well, it clearly isn't. And that's a bit grandiose, so let's reduce it down, and let's say Rutgers University is vegan if you want it, of which he is an esteemed professor and a governor. And Rutgers University has a vivisection department, it has a zoo, it has a farm animal department. When you can come to me and tell me that your work succeeds, then I might listen to you.
Okay, thank you, Tony Wardle. Marcus Dredge, if you'd like 1 minute to sum up.
Okay. Exploitation of other animals is certainly on the rise, and I don't solely attribute all of that increased demand to the failures of the animal welfare movement. That the human population rises by 230,000 people daily, many of whom will never hear about veganism perhaps, and may aspire to consume animal products as a measure of status, would also be significant. That said, the argument that if other sentient animals matter morally, they therefore should not be used as our property, has never been given its due focus. Therefore, it is currently harder to supply supportive evidence, bar our personal anecdotes. What we can say is the arguments make sense, they aren't confusing, and they are clear in their claims making. If other animals matter at all, then the least we should do is go vegan. With that consistent stance, the cards will fall as they may with the public, but we won't have sold out or shortchanged the other species who we advocate for.
Okay, thank you, Marcus. And Victoria Iserman from the Canine Angels, 1 minute.
I just want to say, I wish it was as simple as switching a switch on and off and people would just understand that veganism is the way forward. But it's not that simple, and that's why I believe single issue campaigns are needed. They do work, and I'm actually living proof that they work. I was a vegetarian and now I'm a vegan because of a single issue campaign.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. And Professor Francione, 1 minute.
We've never had a vegan movement. We've never had a movement that promotes the idea that veganism is a moral imperative. We've never had that in history. The idea that, most of us, I was a vegetarian before I became a vegan. As a matter of fact, I became a vegetarian in 1976. I had never heard the word vegan. But The fact that we have been, most of us were vegetarians before we became vegan, is not an indication that that's what we ought to perpetuate. That's the problem. We've never done anything different. Let's try something different. Let's be clear that if animals matter morally, then we cannot eat them, wear them, or use them. Let's stop promoting the idea that there's a moral distinction between flesh and other animal products. Let's stop doing that. Let's see what happens. The idea that I've heard that there's research that shows that but these single-issue campaigns and vegetarian lead to veganism is complete nonsense. I know what he's talking about. There is no empirical evidence whatsoever. Please, go vegan. And educate other people. We can change the world. In the next year, if each of you persuades one other person to go vegan, and we all do that, we will have a vegan world a hell of a lot sooner than we will by telling people, don't eat foie gras, eat steak instead.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let's just have a massive round of applause for our four very brave, very eloquent and incredibly interesting speakers. I just want to add my own little view, seeing as we've got a global audience. Look, I'm a Viva lifelong supporter. I'm a paid-up lifelong supporter, and that's not going to change at the moment. Likewise, Animal Aid, lifelong paid-up supporter. Yeah, likewise, the Vegan Society, lifelong paid-up supporter. I have a huge respect for anybody, like the person mentioned about getting off from watching the telly and getting active. Anybody who goes out there to try and promote the end of exploitation of animals, and that's their goal, to help people go vegan. Anybody who can get up and do that is doing a fantastic thing. My suggestion is, if you're running a single-issue campaign, okay, if you want to carry on running that single-issue campaign, look at ways to make it more vegan. Make sure that your single-issue campaign, at the very minimum, carries vegan education. Make sure that your single-issue campaign is geared towards helping people go vegan. My own choice is to do peaceful vegan education, and I think grassroots vegan education all over the world by people with very little but the passion to educate others, that's going to be the way that we crack it. And I very much hope that all our activists watching today all over the world are really inspired and lifted by this debate, and really inspired to look at their work, examine it critically, engage respectfully between other activists, and let's raise this level. Let's look at the ways that we can get to this end game as quickly as possible. I believe the world can be vegan if you want it, and I think deep down we all believe that if we want it, we can have a vegan world. It's just how we get there. Thank you very much, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and non-human animals. And I'm just going to now ask Karen Ridges to wrap up the debate.
Well, just really quickly, what an emotive subject. There's nothing on the planet like it. At the end of the day, we all want the same things. And it is sad when there's tension between vegans, because I think we've got such a big battle on our hands with the non-vegans, and we need to get ourselves busy with them. Thank you so much for playing so nicely, guys. Enjoy the rest of the Vegfest, and check out me on Veggie Vision. I've got to give myself a blatant advert. No problem about that. Veggie Vision TV. Enjoy. Let's big it up. Can we just have a last huge bonkers round of applause, screaming and shouting for the Vegfest? I'm out of voice now. Thank you.
Right, guys, just on a quick issue, we do have to leave fairly soon. Level 1 is now shut, so you will need to go straight down to the bottom floor to be able to leave. Okay, so if we could ask you to be fairly speedy, because we have overrun a little bit. Thank you very much. This is the end of Vegfest London 2015. We're already booked in for 2016, and we're looking forward to seeing you all there again. Welcome to carry on the debate. It's on Facebook, and Vegfest Express poll, and the recordings of these will be aired on YouTube fairly shortly. You're very welcome to share them. Thank you very much once again. Bye.